I get leads from funnels that I built in 2017 all the time. When was the last time you got a lead from work that you did 7 years ago? Unless it's a repeat client who moved into their house and now they're ready to sell, that just doesn't happen. This does. All right, let's talk about leads, because if you are not getting a lot of leads, you don't really have a business, do you? You just have a very expensive hobby. And as real estate agents, we spend a lot of money on stuff before we ever have money coming in. And this is not a great way to continue to run your business. So we need to have leads coming into your database, filling your pipeline day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Can we all agree on that? And this is essentially how I built my entire business after I relocated to a new area where I didn't know anybody except my mom and dad, and I didn't have any market share and didn't have any name recognition. It worked incredibly effectively, and I'm going to show you some receipts so you know that I'm not making this up, and then I'm going to teach you the entire strategy so that you can just steal this whole business strategy for yourself. And my favorite part of this is that it doesn't require any ad spend. You don't need to spend a single dollar on paid advertising. You can, but you don't have to. I did it all organically for years and years and years before I ever started running any ads. And I know that it works from an organic strategy, and I want to share it all with you. Now, I started off as a solo agent when I moved to Savannah in 2017. Eventually, I built a team, and we continued to do this strategy with a total of 9 agents on that team. So I just want to show you a little bit of information so that you know this is real. So here is the dashboard inside of the website that I use, and you can see that I just filtered it down to the year 2022 because that's the last year that I had a team that I was in production. In December of 2022, I decided to go all in on coaching, and so I shut down the team. So this was the last year that we were actually doing the strategy, and I just wanted to show you. So we got 557 leads in 12 months. If you divide that by 12, the average is about 46 leads a month. Some months it was much greater than that, but I just took an average over the 12-month period. And now I'm trying to remember what we did in July, because you can see that our website went insane in July of that year. We were driving a lot more traffic to the website, obviously. And when you just click, you can see on specific days, how many leads did you get that day? How many people visited your website that day? Like that day, 91 visitors, and we got 12 leads that day on August 21st. This was without any ads. This was an organic strategy, I promise you. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You need more clients, you need more leads, so you start posting like crazy on social media. You pass out your business card to everyone you meet. You strike up conversations with people at the supermarket and at the kids' t-ball games, and you're just trying to let everybody know, reminding everyone in your community that you are a real estate agent and that you are never too busy for their referrals. And what happens? Maybe you get a couple of leads, but for the most part, you feel like you're doing all of these activities, but it's not producing. It's not really getting you any clients. So what do a lot of us end up doing as a result? We start buying leads. We go to the big portals and we shell out thousands of dollars a month to get leads that are not really all that great. They're not loyal to you. They don't know who you are. You are interchangeable with every other real estate agent. So you paid a lot of money for that lead, and they kind of treat you like garbage, let's be honest. And you might close a few of those deals, but you resent it. I talk to a lot of people who are very resentful that they are spending this kind of money on a yearly basis with these portals to get clients that, yes, they do end up closing sometimes. And yes, they do make enough money that there is a return on their investment, but they sure don't like it. They do not enjoy the people that they end up working with. They feel like these clients are just nightmares. I have a private coaching student right now who tells me all the time, like, I cannot wait until this deal closes so that I never have to talk to this person again. And how many times have you felt like that? And look, I get it. When I had just moved to Savannah, I didn't have leads like that. But what I did have was a system. I had a way to create clients where there were none before. I had a way to make leads appear out of thin air. It truly works like magic. And I'm going to be doing a live boot camp here starting on February 10th. So if you want to join me for this live boot camp, I will leave the link down below. You can get all of the details. And I'm going to show you in real time how we can build this system together. The system works 24 hours a day, and it all works by starting with one thing, and that is the freebie. So when I say freebie, what do I mean? I mean, I am making them a valuable free offer that they simply cannot refuse. I am talking to one specific person with one specific problem, and I say, hey, I have this free thing. You should go get it. It will solve your problem. It can be a PDF guide. It could be a video. It could be a video series. It could be like a little miniature course. It can really be whatever you want it to be. But for the sake of ease, let's just say that it's a free PDF that they're going to download. When I was in California, we had title companies, and the title reps were awesome. And they would come to our office and they would give us all kinds of free stuff that we could use to market our business. And I had lots of those buyer and seller guides, and they were beautifully printed and produced. They were like heavy duty paper and glossy. They looked amazing. The downside is they were so generic. They probably printed those for every state. So it was never specific to the local area or even how you did business in your area. They were mass produced for agents all over the country. And so what I find works much better is to have one guide that solves one specific problem for one specific person. And you're going to hear me harp on this over and over again. So instead of a guide like Download My Seller's Guide, it's something like the Downsizer's Guide to Cleaning Out 30 Years Worth of Stuff. If you are an empty nester and you're planning to sell your house and you've lived there for 30 years and you've raised your kids there and you have so much crap, you're probably totally overwhelmed thinking, how am I going to get rid of all of this stuff to downsize to a 1,200 square foot, 2-bedroom house in a 55 and over community? Well, what if you made a guide that solved one specific problem for them, which is how do we get rid of all the stuff? It's not just information to help them. It is solving a very real problem that they have right now. And it's not relevant to everybody. It's not relevant to people that are not downsizing. It's not relevant to buyers. It's not relevant to all sellers. It's relevant to a very specific subset of people, which is why it works. So you will get fewer people who download that guide, but the ones who do fill out the form to download that guide are much more serious. I recently did a video talking all about this, so I will link it up here. It was how you can get thousands of leads from a free PDF. At the end of this video, you can go watch that one if you want me to go into more detail about what exactly that guide is and how I make it and all the things. Okay, so now we've made the killer guide, but if nobody sees it, does it even exist? If a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, right? If it's there on your website, but nobody knows it's there, is it doing you any good? No, we got to have some traffic. So we got to send people to the website. We need traffic going to the website. And you can do this in any number of ways. You can make a YouTube video, and in your YouTube video, you say, hey, I have this free guide. You can post it on social media. You can email it to your database. Heck, you could print out postcards with a QR code and you mail them to 100 houses or 1,000 houses. And when they scan the QR code, it goes to this specific page on your website. Do not make it something that is not an irresistible offer. If you just say, download my seller's guide, or what's my home worth, or, free first-time buyer's guide, but it's something that they can Google and get the answer very quickly without your help. That's what they're going to do. They're going to go and try to find the information without you because unfortunately they've been on the receiving end of the, hey, just checking in phone call that they get nonstop from realtors. Once they get into your database, they know they will never get rid of you again because you're not giving them anything of future value. You're just calling to check in to find out when are you going to become a client for me so I can finally get you off of my prospecting list and I can make some dang money. That's how they feel. They feel like they're just a meal ticket to you because you call them asking them for stuff, but you don't give them any help in return. Now, if you don't do this, wonderful, I'm glad. But come on, how many realtors do it this way? You call and call and call to follow up with the person, asking for what they can do for you, but you're really not offering to do anything for them in return. So you're going to talk about your free guide all over the place. You're going to talk about it on the internet. And as I said, I love doing YouTube videos for that reason, because they see you, they hear you, they get to know you, that you start to build that know, like, and trust factor. And then you drive them to that website where they can get your little free PDF that, it'll take you an hour or 2 to build, maybe a couple hours to build, but then you can get business from it for years and years and years to come. That was a really bad PDF, so I'm just gonna draw it again because it was not very attractive. See? Such art skills, right? So now they go to your landing page, but what if they don't fill it out? What if they get there and they don't fill out the form and therefore give you their information and then become a lead? Why is that? It's usually for a couple of reasons. Number one was the thing you were offering was just not compelling enough. And quite honestly, if that's how they feel, let's say you made a YouTube video, you offer your free guide, nobody clicks on that link. It was because the guide itself did not sound enticing enough. It's not a big enough problem for them to want to solve, or they're like, I can just go do a Google search. I don't need to get on your mailing list. So if nobody is clicking the link, it's usually because the offer was not enticing enough. If they click on the link, but then they don't fill out the form, it's for another reason. It could be that the design of the landing page was way too cluttered. There was too much text. It was hard to read. It was hard to look at. A whole plethora of design problems where you think all you have to do is make the page, but there's a lot more that goes into it. And so in that workshop that I'm doing starting February 10th, I'm going to help you design a landing page because there really is an art and a science to building a landing page that converts. If you're sending cold traffic to a page, as in they saw an ad and they clicked on the ad, but they didn't know who you were, they've never heard of you before, you can expect anywhere from like 2 to 3%, maybe 5% conversion rate if you are a killer marketer. But if you're sending warm traffic, so they watched a YouTube video and now they know who you are, you can easily get 20% conversion rate. So that means 100 people clicked on the link, 20 people actually filled out the form, and that number can go up from there if they feel like they really know you. They've watched a bunch of your videos. They are a super warm lead at this point, but not if your landing page is butt ugly and difficult to navigate. And I can't really tell what it is that you're offering me. Your offer is not clear. I'm just not 100% certain what I would get when I fill out the form. That's all a design issue, and we can fix that very easily. Now, once somebody opts in on this form, now you get a lead. You get an email that says, ding, 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 we have a new lead there in your database. Congratulations. But only if you have connected it to your CRM. And if you think, well, I don't really have a lot of leads, so I'm just going to do it manually. Like I'll send them the PDF guide myself and I will manually enter them into your database. No, here's what I want to tell you. I tried doing that because I did not know how to connect my landing page to my CRM at the time. So I figured I will set up a special sound on my phone so that when I get an email from my website from this one specific return email address that I know it's leads at, and then the name of my website, it'll go, wah, 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 and that way I will hear, oh, I just got a new lead. So I would grab a piece of paper out of the center console or the glove box and grab a pen and jot down all of their information. And then I would try to find the PDF document from my phone and send them an email and attach the PDF document. And it would never work. It would never go through because the file size was too big, or I fat fingered their email address and I made a typo. And then I would get home at the end of a long day and like have dinner and play with the kids and have a glass of wine. And then the last thing I wanted to do was sit there and do data entry on my laptop. So did I? No. More often than not, I never got around to putting them into my database, which means what? They never got followed up with again. It was the equivalent of taking that lead, dropping it in the toilet, and flushing. I never followed up with them, and that was 100% on me. Why did I not do that at the time? Just because I didn't know how to connect software A with software B. Once I figured that out and I hooked it all up, oh my gosh, now it runs on autopilot. They immediately get the thing that they opted in to request, and then it sends them a series of follow-up emails. And if they put in their phone number, they also get text messages. And I can call them. But the beautiful part when they put in their phone number is you don't need speed to lead is not a thing. You do not need to call them within 5 minutes. You can pick up the phone and call them an hour later, or 2 hours later, or 3 hours later, because they've already received the guide and they've gotten an email from you, and maybe they've even gotten a text from you. And so by the time you pick up the phone and call them, they're like, oh, hey, thank you so much for sending me that guide earlier. It's nice to talk to you. And presumably they know who you are, because the reason they even went to that site to fill out the form was because they saw your social media post, they saw your video, they read your blog, they got your email. They're a warm lead. And now the conversation that you have with them is very, very different than cold calling somebody who has no idea who you are. So let's go through what this might look like. I'm going to go, here's a squeeze page. My website, we call it a squeeze page. It was a thing that we did for a 10-day sellers challenge, how you can get your house ready for the market in only 10 days. And the idea was that we had made a video where we were talking about what does it take to get your house ready to sell? And we wanted them to opt in for the sellers challenge. So don't go opt in for this. I'm not giving you the website because I don't want to get all you in my inbox and trying to reverse engineer my stuff. This is not a valid working link for you. Do I need to say that? So the idea is that we made a video. We were talking about what do you have to do to get your house ready to put on the market? And then we said, hey, we've got this free 10 days sellers challenge. And my team and I sat down and said, okay, if you only had 10 days to get your house ready for the market, what would we tell a client to do? And we want to tell them some of the stuff, but not all of the stuff. We want to tell them what to do and why to do it, but not necessarily how to do it, so that we're giving them real information, but not so that they can go off and then list their house for sale by owner. We want them to realize all of the things that they don't know, that they really do need the advice of a professional to do themselves. And that when we're following up with them over and over and over for 10 days, giving them all of this great information, eventually they're just going to be like, you know what? I would love for you to list my house. So that was one that we did. Here was another one that we did, a relocation guide. When I moved to Savannah, my entire YouTube channel was about people in the military relocating to Savannah. They were going to be stationed at Hunter Army Airfield. Then I built the team and we serviced Hilton Head and Atlanta and Augusta and Bluffton and other areas. So let's walk through what this looks like real time. This is what the buyer would see. They come to this website. It's got my brokerage information at the top. It is not giant. It is not like big red arrows saying, please look at my company logo. It's not super brightly colored. You could put the black and white logo. You could put the gray logo. Has to be there, but it doesn't have to be like, woo, look at me. We don't want that to be the first thing that they see. We want them to see the ultimate Hilton Head, South Carolina relocation guide. That's the headline. That is what they are going to get. And then we show them this is what you're going to get. That little photo is the cover of this guide. If you're considering relocating to Hilton Head Island, you probably have lots of questions. Download our free guide and find out what you need to know. This is it. This is the whole page. There's nothing else on this page except like right down at the very bottom is the year that I made it and the disclaimer policy and all that stuff. So if they click on this, please enter your best email below. Why do I say that? Because now they know, oh, if I put in a fake email address, I'm not going to get this guide. So now they got to put in a real email address, right? So let's fill it out. I'm going to fill it out as Karin is testing. And I'm going to put in my email address. If I can type. That is not my real phone number. Don't call it, please. So they fill out the form. If they know who you are, they're probably going to put in a valid phone number. If they don't, and they put in a fake phone number, or if you decide to make the phone number field optional, that's totally okay. A lot of people don't want to talk to us at the beginning when they're doing all of their research, and that's fine. You'll just have to follow up with them through email instead. But I like to give people the option. Do they want to give you their phone number or not? If they do, and it's their real phone number, they are much more serious clients for you, much more serious prospects, and it's worth following up with them. And then I have them check a little box that says, I agree to be contacted, because I don't want them to fill out this form and then get mad because we contacted them. It's kind of like, hello, that's kind of how this all works. So they click the button. What I did was they will immediately go to a link in my Google Drive where they can download this document. It's just a PDF. So if they want it, all I got to do is hit the little three buttons and then say download. And now they're going to get a copy that they can save on their own computer. But I'm also going to go check my email now. And I can immediately see that I get a notification from my website that says, congratulations, you have a new lead. It tells me their name, their email address, their phone number, the page they came from. So when I look at this and it says HHI Guide as the slug, I know exactly what it is that they opted in for. And I know that they are a buyer, they are a relocation buyer, and I know the area that they are now interested in moving to. And then the message, how soon are you looking to move? 3 months. They could have said, I'm not. They could have left it blank. They could have said 12 years from now. They could have written, please don't call me. But I just put in 3 months and then boom, there it is. So I get notified that I have a lead. And then they get an email that looks like this. It says, here's your relocation guide, and with their name in the subject line. And then it just says, hey, thanks so much for downloading my relocation guide. I hope you find this helpful. Now that I'm looking at it, I feel like that text, that font size is small. I should probably make it a little bit bigger. And then I say, where do you live now? What's bringing you to the area? And I leave it at that. I want them to reply. I want them to say, oh, I just got a job transfer, or, oh, we're going to retire next year. And I love to golf, and there's no better place to live than Hilton Head if you are a golfer. And then I also link to the guide one more time, just in case they were on that page, they didn't download it, and then they can't ever find it again. I just put the link right in the email. Now they can go back and they can download it one more time. So this is kind of what the customer journey would look like for the prospect. And now we're going to hook them up to your CRM so that they received the guide, they received email number 1, and now they're going to receive emails number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many you want to send them. You can set up, if your CRM allows you to send text messages automatically, you could text them. So they get the email right away. And then maybe 15 minutes later, they get a text that says, hey, I sent that to your inbox. I just wanted to make sure you got it. And that way they're not going to think that it was a robo text, even though it was. They won't think that because it didn't happen immediately as soon as they pressed the button to download the guide. It went out a few minutes later. So they think, oh, this is a real person. And if they reply back, boom, now we're having a conversation. That is the goal of this entire funnel, is to have a conversation, not to like immediately get an appointment and sign on the dotted line and make a commission check. It's to just start a conversation. I think everybody gets so excited about, I want to get a client from these leads, that they got commission breath. They are a little bit too desperate. They talk to the person and they're so excited to have a lead to talk to that they are all over them like white on rice. And the poor client is like, you need to back off a little bit. You're coming on a little strong here. You reek of desperation. Instead, we just want to get them to have a conversation. Oh, are you moving to Hilton Head? Why? What's bringing you here? And we just talk. It's that simple. But you can't forget to follow up with them, because a lot of people take many, many, many touches before they will convert, before they will even have a conversation with you on the phone, or do a Zoom call, or come into the office and meet you in person, or invite you to their house for a listing presentation. There are a lot of people that are just not ready to do that immediately. So you need to keep following up and following up and following up. And the cool part is that your CRM will do 100% of it for you automatically, as long as you put the system in place first. But you can't just follow up once or twice. You can't call them once. You can't text them once. You can't send them 3 emails and then say, oh, they were not a good lead, and just never follow up again. They need to hear from you over and over and over again. It used to be that most people needed to hear from you, I think it was 7 to 8 touches before they would ever convert and become a prospect for you in real life. And now it's something more like 30. It's a ridiculous number of times that you really need to be in front of this person before they will think of you enough to say, "Oh, yeah, that's right. I want to call that person and see if she will come talk to me about buying or selling a house." So, the workshop that I'm doing that starts on February 10th is a 3-day live workshop. It's called Build Your First Funnel. We will take all three of these steps: the freebie creation step, the landing page creation step, the email writing automated nurture sequence creation step, tie them all together. And by the end of the 3 days, you will have a fully functioning funnel that can bring you clients. This is an amazing way to fill your database and fill your pipeline for years and years to come. You do all of the work up front. So, yes, it's going to require work up front. We're going to do that together over the course of 3 days. But once it's in place, you never have to touch it again. It will run over and over and over again. I get leads from funnels that I built in 2017 all the time. When was the last time you got a lead from work that you did 7 years ago? Unless it's a repeat client who moved into their house and now they're ready to sell, that just doesn't happen. This does, as long as you are continuing to put content out on the internet where you drive traffic to that landing page. This can work over and over again. So if you're serious about getting 500 leads a year without paying for them, come join me for Build Your First Funnel. I'll leave the link down below. I would love to see you there, and we will do this all together because this is the greatest way to get 500 free leads a year that I've ever found.